a different way.
I'm a dancing queen.
Not that way either.
Oh, what's good, people? How's it going? How's it going out there? Welcome to another episode of Horror Research 30. And tonight we are reviewing the film Abby from 1974. Oh, man. Look at this.
Calling a
He
bad.
just,
You just knocked this whole camera over.
he really did.
He's possessed.
Abby got him.
Abby got me.
We don't want to see your underwear.
That's not underwear. That's tissues. I don't even have a way to cover up. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Keep it above the waist.
Looks a little crazy.
Well, I mean, Trevor put it in my head. He reminded me. I was sane until he reminded me what I am.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I feel bad. I make your show all about me. Next time, throw me out.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. Good.
Good.
For those of us on the East Coast, I am happy as fuck that it cooled off because
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
these past few days sucked. These past few days fucking sucked.
If it's any sign of what August is going to be for us here out in the East Coast, Pennsylvania, and that kind of stuff, that's usually our like shit weather as far as summer. And I feel bad because I hate winter, but there is a point in summer I don't like it, so I feel like a hypocrite. But no, the August is usually what we just got.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear is.
Yeah.
I think we're going to break a
107
record. I think
degree
we're going to hit 120s.
Yeah.
No record breaking. We don't need that.
Mm-mm.
We don't need that. What's good, Mr. Osborne? How's it going?
What's up, cracker?
Isn't that Ozzy's like illegitimate child that I don't know, he wanted to get into music, but like
It's his step nephew. He just stole his last name.
not enough people know about Ozzy Osbourne. Just back me up, Trevor.
I know Ozzy Osbourne. I don't remember. No.
Besides the fact that Ozzy Osbourne should not have released that album, that he's tarnishing what he did it way too long. He'll always be Ozzy Osbourne, but man, he went out in a really dumb way when he finally does.
In a really dumb way.
I'm sorry, I had to say something so blatantly duh like that, but
No,
yeah,
funny.
I mean, they're
That was
literally
funny.
just hoping that he survives for another 3 weeks so he can sit beside other people singing his songs with the healthy members of the band. So yeah,
Redheaded
Sorry.
step nephew.
off the cuff, but
Even better. He's the redheaded step nephew.
Redheaded stepnephew, been there.
Also known as
They got
Ginger
over it.
Foo.
Ginger.
Ginge foo?
Ginger Foo.
I just have visions of Carrot Top singing War Pigs. That frightens me.
This is a horror show. So
That does go with the flow. That does go with the flow of it. But let's dive into Abby. And Trevor, I'm gonna let you kick this one off because you were super excited for this one. You were like since last week, or no, actually 2 weeks ago when I told you we were gonna be doing this, or whenever I told you. It's not important. But you were super excited about this. So I wanna hear more about your excitement for this film.
Okay, well, there's a lot to Abby as far as the movie, but also the legend behind it. First of all, I think Carol Speed, who plays Abby, William Marshall, who plays the Bishop Garrett Williams. It's got this amazing cast of people. It was made by William Girdler, who was a director that went back and forth between Blaxploitation but also horror, directing Grizzly, Day of the Animals, Three on a Meat Hook, and Sheba Baby. As a director, I think he's very, very good. Was this an Exorcist ripoff? Compared to the other Exorcist ripoffs, I personally feel that it is financially and racially based. That Warner Brothers, yes, Frank Zappa's right, Warner Brothers actually brought a lawsuit and suspension to a film that was made for roughly $300,000, but pulled in its short time, $4 million. Samuel J. Arkoff of AIP produced this amazing film, but to this day, no official media version of this film has been released except for the unofficial cheesy pics. And why? It's because Warner Brothers won because Friedkin, not Blatty, claimed that it was too close to The Exorcist.
Wow.
Yes, there are things that are very similar, but is it any worse than Beyond the Door or other films that came out and pulled those things? In my opinion, Warner Brothers and the fact they were making so much money with Exorcist, it was the fact that they were bringing in bank with this version, that it's been suppressed. That's why if you go digging for it, best it looks like a second gen VHS copy. But you know, sometime, somewhere, there will be a 35 millimeter print released that Warner Brothers doesn't shoot down. So that's why I think it's an amazing film. And it's batshit crazy.
I didn't think of The Exorcist when I was watching this. Some reason Jennifer's body popped up in my head.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So I'm like, because she basically did the same thing. She got possessed, not by choice, because she was a sacrifice or something. And she's going around trying to fuck all the dudes, then kill them. So that's why it popped in my head when I was watching
Oh
it.
shit! Similar premise. Oh yeah, you're right. Similar premise to that. Which, I mean, Jennifer's bot. They would have got it from this. Which,
Yeah, exactly.
man,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that one at all.
Yeah.
I was thinking of The Exorcist, but not even necessarily like a ripoff. Just like a.
This reminds me of a regular demon movie. This is how all demons people act when they're possessed in movies.
Well,
It
honestly,
did remind me of Reagan. It didn't. So I
No.
don't know.
It would be like calling The Sentinel a ripoff of The Omen or a Rosemary's Baby. See, that doesn't make sense. That would have been logical, but that's why I said that I think the suppression and actually having it removed from all theaters was financially and also racially based, because it's also times considered one of the highest grossing blaxploitation films ever, based on the fact that it got $4 million in such a small time. So,
Okay.
but yeah, the William Marshall's character, the bishop, is very much like Max von Sydow's character in The Exorcist, but Max von Sydow is a Catholic bishop who does the Roman ritual. And yes, they are both archaeologists to an extent, and they both release Pazuzu or Eshu, which they call it Yoruba, and it's Yoruba. So you have so many of these wonderful similarities, but then it veers off in ways that have nothing to do with The Exorcist. It number one, it is about the possession of a 30-some-year-old person who is living a very good life, and it is not from the perspective that The Exorcist is, which makes The Exorcist its own. So I do feel that this movie deserves to finally be released to the public because it stands alone. And that's another reason why I was so excited about this film, because a lot of people just don't know about it unless you're already deep in that subgenre.
No,
He
that's
means
right.
you three.
Huh?
He means you three.
That's what he means. He means money. Us three.
This feels weird. I don't want to do
What?
this. Put me at the bottom. I like the bottom.
So we've heard.
He was trying to segregate you guys.
I destroy awkward silence with Linda Blair.
That's cool.
Is there awkward silence?
Is there a what?
Awkward silence?
I don't know. From this side, there was. I don't know.
I think it's just
Warming up.
He's tired. He's getting ready for a big marathon next week.
I'm wide awake though. I'm not tired yet. Not
Super,
tired
he's
yet.
super exhausted.
I'm good. I'm good. You're tired. It's okay.
I'm always tired.
But
Facts.
anyway, like I was saying though, what you were saying about the whole Jennifer's body thing, I did get an Exorcist vibe from this movie, but not like a ripoff, more of just like a different culture telling their story of an exorcism in a way. And I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much as the original Exorcist, but I did enjoy the film. I did have a really good time with the movie. Something I'd probably watch again. It's definitely something I'd watch again. And like obviously the religious take on it wasn't too far fetched because I mean you see that with a lot of blaxploitation film.
Mhm.
And yeah, I guess the Exorcist twist on it. What I did like yes, there was some humor in it, but again, it didn't take it to like too silly. You know what I mean? So where it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, this doesn't feel right. It was just enough to have the humor in it that you kind of want. I still wish it was darker though. I still wish it was darker and scarier. I think that's my biggest kind of quirk with it is the lack of horror in it or lack of scariness in it. You know what I mean? Because it was still horror, but you know what I mean? It wasn't scary. That's something I kind of wish it was. Or I had like the better feel or the better vibe of it even being scary back in the day, which I'm sure it was, but it doesn't give that feel like The Exorcist does. As far as like that shit was scary back when it came out, and it still scares people to this day, especially the people that are deep into religion or whatever. I don't know if this one would do that. And I think that kind of takes away from, for me, it kind of takes away from the story a little bit. But again, overall, good movie. I'll give it a 7. As a matter of fact, I'll give you guys my rating. I'll give it a 7. But James, you want to go? You got anything to say?
So I surprisingly really enjoyed this one. One, I watched a lot of demon movies. Paranormal, possession, everything movies are my favorite go-to. It just felt like I was comfortable, like sitting there, like, oh, nice. I thought because when I went in, I thought it was gonna be a shit show. I thought it was gonna be bad. 'Cause I never heard this movie. I know what the hell it is. I'm like, what? Okay, I'll check this out. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So because it's in my realm of style of movies.
Nice. What would you rate it?
Um, I, I'm honestly in my head like an 8.
Nice. How about you, Trevor?
I think I'm going to surprise everybody with my, over enthusiasm for this film, but I'm only going to give it a 7 also.
Oh,
Okay.
And why I'm saying that is we have yet to see, I mean, a small group, well, not a small group, a large group of people, when it was released, got to see it on a big screen in its desired aspect ratio, which is not on a VHS that somebody's recorded about 5 times and then finally uploaded and digitized it onto YouTube. I think you're going to find that it is actually even better. The fact that the film even stands up and is enjoyable based on the fact that most of the copies are virtually unwatchable if you don't have a background in like collecting old VHS tapes. So yeah, I mean, James, when you said it was good, I was the same thing. There's something comfortably about this movie. But imagine if it was, like in 2K. I think it
yeah,
would
true.
kick a
Yeah.
lot more ass. So I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
Nice. How about you, Mick?
I've always been a fan of this movie. I watched the first time when I was in college, and that was kind of like where my love and appeal for I would say more black horror came from, with some influence of friends in college, and this was one that I don't really like exorcism films. I don't think they're good. I think they missed the point of what the first Exorcist was doing and what it was trying to say. Uh, three can three comes close with it, but everything else just sort of misses the mark and becomes unbelievable in my opinion. Um, because the exorcism isn't about winning, and that's what it's always become in other movies. That's what I kind of it throws me off about this movie. I would give it a 6. I think it's high up there. I think it's good for black exploitation horror, but don't think I don't think it's earth shattering
Okay.
within that realm. Like, I think this is just a good, and it is. I mean, to say that black exploitation films didn't copy more mainstream films of the time is sort of doing a disservice to the time, because that was like, we see it so often all throughout, right? All throughout the history of black exploitation. So like with this, we see it not just in black cinema, we see it in every aspect of cinema, down to porn copies, everything. So I don't think it's, I think it's intentional, but I don't think it's hurtful. I think we should have different voices telling the same stories in different ways, and that's what makes it interesting. And I think that's why this makes this one, in terms of exorcism films, interesting. Not black exploitation, nothing, but exorcism films, I think it's up there with The Exorcist. Not as good of a movie, in terms of production value and everything else, and budget and such, but as far as story, I think it's just as interesting and told from a different perspective. But I generally, exorcism films are low for me. I think they miss the mark of what an exorcism is.
You gave a
wanna
higher
point
score than I
something
thought
out.
you were going to give, because I knew that about you. I thought you were going to give it a 4.
I like this movie.
No, but I
Real-
thought you were going to give it a 4 because I didn't know. I was just watching. I'm like, oh, because you complained a lot about the past like demon movies that came out, and I'm like, oh, this is going to bring flashbacks. He's going to get pissed watching this.
I think in its sort of reasoning for trying to emulate, and again, I'm not copy, but emulate, which that's what movies really sort of do, is they emulate. Um, the '80s horror movies, everything's emulating everything. But if you really come down to it, like with Abby, this is one that emulated it in the right way. It didn't like, there was no other exorcism films to pull from, so it did its own thing, and I think that's what made The Exorcist special. So that's what makes Abby special.
Also happened to be made in the United States, and that meant that it was, battling against The Exorcist itself. So that's why there's a lot of international possession films. But Mick, you pointed something out, and it's so important. I'm so glad you said it. That the major difference between possession films and films that get what The Exorcist is doing is the concept of sacrifice. There is no charis. I don't think William Peter Blatty could have said it better than what you just said. So thank you for saying it.
What about you, Gamer? What are your thoughts?
I got through it. I mean, I felt like there was much more to be desired. Obviously, it's a little dated in its filmmaking styles. We're just fucking spoiled, but something was still, for me, not there. I'm giving it a 5.
5?
Yeah.
You know what that's
Oh.
called? Racist.
Yeah.
I
You're
was
probably right.
I was hoping it was going to be as good as, or at least as close to as good as entertaining as Blackula, but it just didn't hit it just didn't hit the mark right there. It was just you know what I mean? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like something where I'm just like, oh shit, you should really check this out. Blackula, I'm definitely gonna recommend to people. This one, it's more so like, if it's brought up in conversation, like, oh yeah, I seen this one too, and blah 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 about it. But it's still, I just wish it was scary. I think if it had a better fear aspect to it, I think that would have helped it a lot. I really do.
Speaking of Blackula, because we missed last week. Was that last? No, last week was Hottie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be Dr. Black. And
Yeah,
his
never
father.
mind. Blackula we did. I don't think anybody mentioned it, but now that you said that, Blackula remind me of actual Dracula.
Okay, you could speak on that.
Well, it's like almost like the same buildup, except for how he turned to Blackula. But years go by, coffin. He gets up. He's in a new town. A woman that reminds him of his wife Dracula was like hooked on this one chick too in the movie. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I was just getting flashes
Nina.
of like taking it from Dracula, even though yes, a lot of vampire movies out there did that. But then they started making movies where it's the soldiers. Where's the true Dracula, the leader? No one mentions. It's just like everybody has clans and
Yeah.
their own thing. So that's how
Yeah.
they changed the movies a bit. But everything gets pulled from, Dracula.
Hmm.
But I just had a lot of thoughts of when we watched Blackula. I was like, I forgot to mention that it did remind me of Dracula.
More traditional Dracula.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to point out about Blackula is, and I honestly think that William Marshall and Abby was trying to kind of be like Max von Sydow, because Blackula, William Marshall, is also the priest in this.
Yep.
William Marshall.
Yep.
Yeah, and he actually got his start back on like Bonanza, Rawhide, and the original Star Trek. So like he's high billing. This is a good cast too.
Well, not to take away from what you're saying, no, but for any Trek geeks that I know out there watch or listen, he was Dr. Daystrom. So Daystrom Institutes, like if you're a Star Trek fan, you know Daystrom. He was Dr. Daystrom. So Blackula and Dr. Daystrom, same one, same people.
That's
How you
dope.
doing, Bobby?
It's good, Bobby. Not sure who Dr. Daystrom is, but that's dope.
He was like the authority on the show that led to like sort of androids and AI kind of coming into play. He led that whole charge. He was in the William Daniels was in the original series as Daystrom.
Oh, okay, with Shatner, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn it! I know I've had to have seen him in it and just didn't know who it was or who he was. So if I go back and watch it again, or at least check it out.
Well, it's the series, not the
IMDb is
movie, right?
insane. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I used to watch the series here. I'd watch some of the
okay.
series here and there. Not much, because Next Generation is my favorite one. So that's one that I always gravitate towards just because it's comfortable. Been watching, it was on when we were kids. You didn't have cable, that shit was on.
We're doing good, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But not to get too far ahead, guys. But next week, I would like to, and I want to let you guys know here, or whoever can show up, whoever can be available for it, but Tuesday, Wednesday, because we're diving into a fun shark thing. Which, Mick, can you upload a thing for the thing for next week?
I can.
Next Friday. But
absolutely.
really quick before I get to
stream, boo.
what Trevor wanted us to see. So these are the two shark films. I'll be doing one of these next Thursday and one next Wednesday, both at 8:00. But Cruel Jaws and The Last Shark, which I'm excited for both. I'm not gonna lie to any of you. I'm super excited for both.
One's Enzo Pasquarelli and the other one isn't it D'Amato, but they're either way they're by really cool Italian directors.
Yes.
So you're gonna have fun, a lot of fun.
Yes, and I can't wait.
Nice.
Can't wait for that. So yeah, let me know if you guys are available.
I actually am, because my kids are on vacation for a while. So I might be interested if that is cool.
Hell yeah. If you're free, come join the party.
Yeah, I'll probably be there.
Sweet.
Well, your Friday the 13th thing was really awesome.
I
went a few times. I really wanted to figure out when I could pop in to talk about Jason Goes to Hell, because I do have a great love for that film and I wanted to defend it, but I couldn't figure it out, especially when I was on a plane most of the day.
Yeah. Very, very, very fair. If you were home chilling, but go, Trevor, come on whenever the hell you're free. And come join us.
I'm still recovering.
Gotta hibernate a little bit more.
How many hours was that total?
20.
Damn.
And then, so on top of that, me and Gamer had the bright idea, which of course I was procrastinating like a motherfucker, smoking and everything. You know what? let's game after till about 3:00 in the morning for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. And the funny thing was, I don't know how good or how bad he was playing on my end, but I did some of the worst gaming. I was too damn exhausted, but I was also using it as like a wind down type of thing too. Like I didn't want to just go to bed and lay down because I know I wouldn't fall. I'm like something kind of wind down,
Yeah.
and just like it was. I was talking like you guys got to go listen to that stream on Saturday the 14th.
Yep.
I'm telling you because I was arguing with myself at one point.
Yep.
They were dying.
At one point, I'm watching his screen and he's aiming and he's shooting empty spaces, and the zombies like over here, and he's just shooting. He's just hitting the triggers. He's having a good time. He's just talking shit. Like,
Yep. Dude, I had a great time though, man. I had a great time that whole day. And saying all that to say we have another stream coming up, but this one will not be quite as long. I promise that. So next Friday, Jaws 4th of July Marathon Watch Party, a Jaws Jamboree. Starts
That
at
sounds
8
like a lot of fun.
Oh, every single Jaws movie right in the Discord. And of course, we're going to be here live. Yes, live, talking through all the movies, having some jokes, some trivia, all kinds of fun stuff like we did for Friday the 13th. July 4th, 8:00 Eastern time. It's going to be great.
Give you all kind of little facts about weird people that are in the movie. So
I love stuff like that. And it is also a charity event. Cast us for a cause. And this one, friend's brother passed, so we're helping out with the funeral expenses with their GoFundMe, which I'm popping up right now. Let me just get this out the way first. And a fellow podcaster, I feel like as podcasters and content creators, we should try to help each other more. Mm-hmm. This space is big enough for all of us for one, but we should definitely try to help each other more. And so that's what we're trying to do. Trying to raise funds to help the family out between hospital expenses they have to pay for and now funeral expenses. So at the very least, share the link. At the very least, share the link, which I'm about to drop it in the comments and, lock it in the comments and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're gonna have a great time with Jaws, bring out the energy like we always do. And
well, we're kicking it off at 6:30 p.m. that night. We're doing the Scene Size podcast live. And then we'll hit play, so make sure you're tuned in. We'll be watching over on the Discord. We'll be doing a live commentary on the Scene Snobs. We'll make sure and the Sturdo Vision channel. But yeah, the Scene Snobs podcast will kick off 6:30 p.m. We're ranking movies that were based on 80s movies and cartoons, 80s TV shows and cartoons. So we're gonna have a good time with that. And
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Masters of the Universe.
Oh, that was a horrible movie.
I was obsessed with He-Man.
No, listen. You say make your list and save it for next week.
Okay.
No more spoilers. Make your list and save it for next week, or week and a day.
All right.
From now, 6:30. It's gonna be a long night though. You guys are gonna have a great time with us. But again, it's not gonna be 20 hours. It's not gonna be 20.
Well, was it like 7 for the Jaws?
Don't worry, 20 will be coming back soon enough. Don't worry.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. We're working on that one behind the scenes, and that one is going to be bigger and better than Friday the 13th because we all learned a lot. And one thing I think we all learned, especially myself, is to not do anything the day before and just really, really, really rest. Mm-hmm. Make sure you have everything done. So we'll see what happens. That's what I'm planning.
As long as it's not Halloween, because I'm out.
You're gonna be here. It's Halloween.
Halloween. I knew it. I had a feeling.
I told you this. That was the feeling.
You did tell me Halloween.
I did. Halloween on Halloween because Halloween's on a Friday this year. You don't listen. See?
Like 24 hours of movies.
Aaron, you know why I don't listen.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
Because starting June 18th, get excited. Because we are going to have a new show coming out.
Pick your mic up a little bit.
How's it up? You can't hear me?
It's low.
We're going to be real excited. You're low. Shut up. You're going to be real excited.
I'm high, actually.
Let me do my promo. Shut up. No, we have a new show coming out called Monster Video.
What are you guys having for dinner tonight?
Ooh.
Motherfucker. I hate you all. Except for Sturdy, who, if he says anything, I'll hate him, but he's been good so far. So
Monster
Video. That's right. It's horror with Sir Sturdy, the best way possible. We're going to be watching some of the best public domain movies that horror has to offer.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to be commenting along with our good buddy and host, Sir Sturdy. Join us for Monster Video. Once a month, we'll be watching a new public domain movie, sharing some trivia, playing some games, having some fun, and taking care of that video store that is deep down under in the farthest reaches of hell.
Nope.
Man for the
Sounds
job.
Sturgatory.
Sturgatory. Well, they
Excellent, excellent
You're in
concept.
Sturgatory, but you have to service the demons in hell.
That is an awesome concept.
Thank you.
Very excited for you about that.
I can't wait. It's gonna be a great freaking time.
I'm curious what's on public domain.
A lot.
You're gonna find out. Tune in. July 18th. First one.
I'm excited what you're going to pick as your first one. Oh, nice.
First,
Boom.
swamp creature.
Holy shit! I think I've seen this.
I wouldn't mind going.
It's a
I wouldn't
wonderful
mind
piece
taking
of
our
shit.
camping.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
think
it.
I've seen
it's
that.
awesome.
I can't wait. I can't
It'll be
wait.
a lot of fun.
Yes, we got listen, we have a lot of shit coming up. A lot of stuff coming up between all of our shows. So just be prepared for that. And as you guys may or may not know, in August, the last episode in August for Popcorn and Pints, we spin that franchise wheel so you can see what we're doing in September and October. Oof, that's gonna be a good time. But until then, make sure you guys come see us Saturday on Popcorn and Pints. We're doing something we've never done before. 8 million ways to die.
So, actually, I do have a question before you end this podcast at 35 minutes.
Commentary, Discord, all that fun shit. Mick loved this fucking Punisher movie so much, so we're gonna watch it all together
Punisher movie.
as a family.
Punishment movie.
Yeah.
As a family, I can't wait for
Well,
that.
listen, there's 3 Punisher movies and a TV show.
Yeah.
So, my mind immediately went to Frank Castle. Punishment movie is very different. First off, you were the one that told him to give me a punishment movie for being a bitch. All right?
I did suggest it.
Yes, you did. You were the one. Oh, you should have a punishment movie because you disappeared and you should make up for it. And you said that, and then you told, and I'll admit, I did say that maybe it should be up to Chris, but then jumped on that. But you jumped on that, and you were like, "Yeah, Chris, give him one." Chris gave.
I knew nobody else was going to say anything.
Ever made.
It's true.
Based on Rotten Tomatoes and probably other people, but I adored it because
You're leaving out 2 very important things.
Fail.
And let's just put it this way: if Trevor's automatically already hitting,
Oh, it's glorious. It's glorious shit. I didn't say when I say something shit, it's not necessarily bad.
Well, have we told you the movie yet?
Yeah, you put it up, didn't you?
No, not that one.
Oh,
that's for the horror show, but the movie that he had to watch is called 8 Million Ways
the
to
Punisher
Die.
movie. Okay, what is this one?
8 Million Ways to Die.
Oh, with Andy Garcia?
Yep.
I like that movie.
Oh shit!
My mother had a thing for Andy Garcia.
It was
Like Harvey Keitel and all these stuff. So I had the VHS and I've watched that film at least 10 times.
See, told you. It was a poor man's To Live and Die in L.A.
Yep.
Worth it.
It's a fun movie. Is that Bridges that's in that?
Yeah.
Bridges, Rosanna Arquette, Garcia, like you said. Like, this movie has every aspect that you've seen in other thrillers, maybe of the time, maybe a little bit earlier, like kind of became a trope, especially on TV and stuff in those thrillers.
Manhunter, Miami Vice, yeah.
And it sticks all of those tropes in there without actually writing a good story.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. And I want to thank Puerto Rican Chris again. Oh, regular Chris isn't here. Regular Chris. White Chris isn't here.
Wow.
Well, I meant like regular tuning in on Popcorn and Pints. He's always there. They're the three.
That's how they
you're-
always cover it up.
Oh my god! Don't, in this climate, please don't throw me onto that bus. I already got enough buses running over me.
I'll tell you what, though, if people don't pay attention, listen, hang on. If people don't pay attention to our content when we're all together, then you just don't understand us. Because we talk like this to each other on camera, off camera.
That's fair, but we live in a society where most of the people who watch anything only takes snippets of memory.
Yep.
Well,
and
listen,
then run
I'm gonna
with
tell you
it.
people this: when you watch our shows, turn your fucking brains on.
Like in the beginning when I said, that's called racist, they're going to clip that and say I'm like calling Mick a racist or something.
Probably. You weren't even talking to me. It wasn't even me who said it. My favorite part. So, but I will tell you this Jeff Bridges movie where he somehow goes to AA 3 times during this movie, but the movie's not about him overcoming alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he is an alcoholic in the movie trying to overcome. Like it's just but he goes to AA 3 times. He was a helicopter pilot that became a detective for immigrants.
It's a great film,
I guess. And there's a black pimp with a heart of gold, which I know I've mentioned before, but he really he actually says it. He's willing to fight people to prove that he's an honorable guy. This movie is the epitome of bonkers, and
I'm like, why does this sound like San Andreas or Vice City?
No, it's such an entertaining film. I mean, it does take all those tropes, like Mick said, but I mean, it's a bad film, but it's entertaining as all get out. It is like one of those great like 80s action, Miami Vice kind of things. And yeah, I mean, Bridges is totally drunk in it, and he's awesome because he's totally drunk in it. And then Andy Garcia, who has always been a favorite of mine, is quite good at playing very stereotypically. Which, if you are an Andy Garcia fan, if you haven't seen the film Jennifer 8, please do so. Sorry, offshoot there, but yeah, I don't see where that's a punishment movie at all.
It was supposed. Well, that's the problem. So here's where Chris messed up. A couple times. So I mentioned a movie that I know Mick hates, right? And then I didn't even say my title at this point yet. I said something to mention the thing, and then someone in the comments mentioned the thing that I was describing, and then I said the title of the movie. Chris just completely ignored all that shit. Then Mick was like, "Okay," he was like, "If you pick a movie from the '80s, I'll more than likely hate it unless it's a thriller." What is Crick? He just goes right with a thriller, an '80s thriller.
Yeah. That was. I would literally said my kryptonite is '80s thrillers. Like
no matter what, '80s thriller, no matter what.
Bad, good, no matter what, and like it's like a film noir. Even the bad ones I love because it's almost like the way it's dressed. It's just wonderful. And the '80s and '90s did. I mean, thrillers in general, but the '80s and '90s just did something where it was really crazy, and I loved every second of it. And it was so hot and so crazy and weird and sweaty. I have to tell you, there is a shootout at the end of this movie. Well, I like in the movie between the bad guy and the good guy. There always is in these thrillers, right? But it's not at the part it should be at. The part that it should be at, where it's very warranted for like a big shootout scene, becomes this whole scene where they're just yelling at each other. And I still don't understand it. I don't even 100% understand the plan that they were trying to do. It seemed like if you had just involved the police, which you were one, it would be easy. Like there's he didn't even do anything illegal to not involve the police. He just didn't. He involved the pimp with the heart of gold. And I'm sharing this information with you, and that is only a small sliver of the pie.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Well, this is not the first time someone made a mistake. Mick thought I would hate movie 43.
No, I said you should hate movie 43. You pissed me off by liking it.
That movie, I laughed many times. I enjoyed that.
But here's the thing. You really enjoyed the movie. I really do know why 8 Million Ways to Die is a bad movie.
True, true.
I was introduced to it at a very, very young age, and it was awesome then. I mean, I was a huge fan of Live and Let Die, or Do Die, Live and Die in LA, Manhunter. So it just automatically. But that was the kind of cool stuff that was. Sometimes 80s thrillers and 80s dramas could be as confusing as some Italian genre films. But that's a beautiful thing too, because these films would never get made now.
You're right, and that's a travesty.
Yeah.
We need more of them. 100%.
It's a creative film in a messed up way, but it's still a creative film.
Yeah. You guys getting on Phasmophobia tonight?
I was thinking about it, but it won't be for long because, of course, I work tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'm getting on.
Are you jumping right on?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, because I'll go up there and do that. But if you're like, oh, about like a half hour, son, hell no, I'm going to bed.
No, I can get right on because I'll set up the stream later. You know what I mean? Like, I can get up and get on and get warmed up at least, about as warmed up as I can.
All right.
But I'm gonna wrap this one up though.
Actually, Sturdy, would you?
Oh, go ahead.
James.
Shit! I gotta show you
those movies, and for James, if nothing else.
What happened?
No, fuck James. This is for
a
everybody.
couple Exorcist-esque ripoffs that actually are really, really worth your time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
So I sent you an image of Beyond the Door.
Hang on.
That sounds familiar.
Okay. Yeah. So this is an Italian film. Came out either in 73 or 74. It is a ripoff of The Exorcist, but an amazingly fun film. Yet again, Italian. The next film is one of my personal favorites, and that is called Il Anticristo, which is another Italian film that I have trouble considering a full-on Exorcist ripoff because it just is so amazingly novel and just batshit weird, but highly recommend it.
Awesome.
Now, the next one actually is probably the most of a ripoff, and that is a film called Satan, also known as the Turkish Exorcist.
Oh, I was right.
And that's okay. And it's a remake through that sensibility in that area. So it's more of a parody. But in comparison to Abby, yes, this is more.
Why does the picture look like she's gonna sing?
Well, it's not from India; it's Turkish. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's called Satan or Turkish Exorcist. These can all be seen on streaming, by the way.
Nice. Might have to check these out my damn self.
Oh yeah.
Now the last one is actually not a traditional possession movie, but why I brought it up is one of the cool things about Abby is when you start watching the movie and everything, they start pointing out Yoruba and Isha and Elegba, which is a shoe, and it comes out like it's an all evil thing, which it really is not. Santeria and religions like that are all set from Nigerian religions, and luckily, Abby at the end corrects that because she's not being possessed by Eshu. She is being possessed by somebody who is actually a trickster. Because Eshu is a Orisha that is actually extremely positive. He can be the devil's advocate, but very positive. Now, this film is just super awesome because it is the closest to Santeria, in my opinion, being shown somewhat correctly. It's not all right, but it also takes a big old dump on what the Christian church has done in its relation to damning traditional Black religion. Sometimes hard to find, but this is a winner. I highly recommend seeing it. It's some deep, cool shit.
Nice. What about this one then?
Oh, that's Elegba or Eshu. So when they talk about Eshu in Abbey, this is a kind of an image. He's also
Oh,
one what
okay.
they call the seven African signs, which are basically like Chang'o and the other saints, because it's connected with Catholicism. That's a long story, but why I brought that up is that yes, that it does correct itself because Eshu in Yoruba is not evil. And the thing is, Santeria and these kind of things, films like The Believers and stuff like that, have used it as kind of a scapegoat because, like, well, you don't want to do the voodoo route. So, oh, let's just make a movie about Santeria and make it evil. And it's not. It's a religion that is very much alive. And with a cantoble, which is a kind of an urban version of it that has a new, real, like, zest, is all a very active, important religion. So, that's one thing about Abby that I was very pleasantly surprised at the end. It doesn't do a great job, and it really is not a good example of what that religion and religions are, but they're not evil Pazuzu religions.
Okay.
That wasn't towards you, Trevor. That was towards Chris, who's spectating.
Sorry,
First of all,
I've been
sorry.
info dumping a lot. I apologize.
You really should watch it. I mean, seriously.
I'm sorry.
I want to say something about this phasmophobia that you guys got me hooked on.
Don't listen to him, Trevor.
Yeah, don't listen, Trevor. You're fine. But I'm going to info dump for a little while. And here's some info dump for you about phasmophobia. This game's insane.
Yep.
Okay? I tried to get into a house 3 times yesterday, and 3 different ghosts and 3 different rounds like kept me at the front door. That's how haunted it was. They didn't want me to get in. And boy, were they pissed off. Were they any of the ghosts that I thought they were?
Nope.
Nope. Doesn't work that way. Phasmophobia, great game. Very realistic. Very awesome. There's cool little stories to it when you get in there. And it's very interactive. I enjoy it. These friggin' houses are scary and these ghosts are scarier, man. But I got
So they just did an update.
Yeah.
So
I know.
they added shit. They changed the ghosts in certain ways, like the visuals and sounds. So they
Good.
did a lot of shit. So I'm into it too. But it is fun when you got a group of people because, like you said, it's interactive. Like with other people, you go, hey, go check the kitchen, and you can just spread out. It's pretty cool.
No,
I
it is.
screamed
It's
like
a
a little girl
fun.
like 4 times yesterday.
Dude, I don't even run no more.
Yep.
I run the 3rd time. The first 2 are ghost events.
Yeah,
They
but you
just
gotta
try to
run to
scare
get
you.
your insanity. You gotta bring your sanity down just to like for certain things. If you don't run, your sanity is gonna be fine.
No, because if you see the
No.
ghost, your sanity still goes down.
Yeah,
you
you see
being
the
alone.
ghost, and when you're in the dark, it drains your sanity.
Yep.
Oh.
So I stand right in front of the bitch. I'm like, listen, bitch, fuck you. That's what I say.
Oh my
You know
God.
what's crazy? What do you guys feel about the movie that they're supposed to be making? Like,
Of that?
Man, listen, I
Yes.
don't want to get my hopes up.
Hmm.
It's cool that the concept they're doing it, but I'm trying to think how would they do it?
I
And is
don't
it gonna
know.
be cheesy?
13 Ghosts back in the day was good. You know what I mean?
You're right.
If you start adding some of the tools for ghost hunting now, like that came up with its own creative things with like the lenses, the goggles, or whatever. And a
I
couple
can
other
almost,
things, but
I
like,
can almost seeing it being. I mean, because it's a ghost hunting game, of course, it'll be a ghost hunting movie. I just, I don't
You think
know.
you're gonna have the different ghosts where they got to figure out what type of ghost is haunting the
That's what
place?
I'm saying because you have to have the different ghosts. You have to have. Are you gonna have the multiple locations and the different like what? I don't know.
I don't
can
know,
tell,
but
the
I'm
only
curious.
thing I can say for anybody who's an enthusiast out there, I was an actual ghost hunter, amateur. We didn't carry all this equipment around, but I've been in more mental hospitals, abandoned than I can count.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully, not. I haven't been as many just visiting as I have. No, but and I used to go into a haunted house. I used to do all the weird New Jersey shit like that. We constantly. I was doing that.
Jersey
since
Devil.
91.
You hunt the
We
Jersey Devil.
hunted the Jersey Devil in the Pine Barrens everywhere. I used to go camping at Wading Pines down in the Pine Barrens. So like all of it. We've done it all. And I've been at Devil's Tree, all over the place. And we've been places outside of the Jersey too, all over. I have, and this isn't me trying to tell some ghost story. it does look super realistic when you're walking around dark situations like that. Yeah, the dark places like that with just flashlights, kind of investigating, trying to figure out what you're finding. I always got yelled at though because I was always the one who would take shit.
It's funny you bring it up, and I'm going to bring up one of your favorite people. I went to the Zach Baggins Museum when I was out in Nevada.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God. Talk about long and overwhelmingly not super great. I mean, it was cool to see the original John Wayne Gacy stuff, but yeah. So as you have said, yeah, Zach Baggins and them are, it's crazy.
You forgot the D, Zachary D. Baggins.
Zachary D. Baggins.
Yeah. The middle stands for douche.
It was fun, but honestly, the tour in itself was 2.5 hours long.
Of course it is,
which was painful.
It's probably they just facts about him.
Oh, you go through it, and he talks to you at different times, and you're just like, oh my God, this is good.
Welcome to Ghost Adventures. We're going to be hunting a ghost tonight here at this abandoned mental hospital. Check it out with this, guys. I'm telling you, this one's going to be a real ripper. Oh my God, it's orbs.
I like the little stick man that humps people. So
I have watched a lot of ghosts, paranormal hunting shows, and even movies, found footage. The closest I've ever seen that comes, like Phasmophobia is one of them that comes in terms of look and searching around and such. The closest I've ever seen in terms of filming that looks real, like you're there at night, is Session 9.
Excellent
film.
And
isn't Caruso in that?
Yeah, he's in that.
Yeah, David Caruso's in that. He's actually good at it.
He's good in a lot of things back in the
Grave Encounters is good.
Grave Encounters is good. No, Grave Encounters is good. But what I'm saying is, like, when you watch Session 9, that's what it looks like to be inside one of those places.
Oh, okay.
At night and during the day, they pegged it perfectly.
Screams asbestos.
They're yeah. You don't care about that so much when you're like 18, 19.
Yeah.
Well, true, yeah.
Just looking for proof of life of ghosts. And I realize the irony of that. But yeah, that honestly, like Phasmophobia really does it well. Session 9 did it well, but like there isn't much else that does it well. And I've actually died on a lot of those excursions, not because it's paranormal, because drug addicts, cops, countless other people and individuals you find along the way. But yeah, everything you see on TV is so ridiculously just staged.
It's still entertainment, though. I love them. I watch a lot of ghost shows.
Yeah, no, I mean, I watch them because they are well, it depends on who the host is. Like, I don't like Ghost Adventures because I don't like them.
See, I watch Ghost Adventures. I like it. I don't like Zach, but I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely Phasmophobia gets a big one for that.
It is real, like you said. It was really, it's realistic. Yeah. So hope the movie.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm wondering what they can do to make the movie, because there's no real. I guess the good thing, the great thing, the amazing thing for them is there's no real story around Phasmophobia. You know what I mean? Like, there's no. You can go by
They just get hired. They take jobs.
I got it right here. I got your movie. Got your Phasmophobia movie right here. You ready? The only way you can really focus on it and be able to tell these tales and like maybe touch down on these houses and these locations is only follow the ghost hunters, right? So you make this team of like young people, but you make it in the vein of like telling The Conjuring. You know, they are paranormal investigators. You make it real. Like that's the thing we look for, and it is real. That's what I was trying to explain. And Jason Bloom, if you're listening, that's what I was trying to explain to like with you guys or like others when I'm watching this thing. Is like when I'm watching the show, it feels fake. It feels like they're trying to force us to believe in ghosts. I would run around this house when I'm first playing the game as a ghost hunter, having been a real ghost hunter. And I'm like, there's nothing, ghosts aren't real. Every time I've done this, like, yeah, be cautious because of your surroundings. not because the supernatural is jumping out, because I've never had any proof of it. But then in this game, you get scared because it is real. So I think you need to take that element to make it feel real to everyone else. Is you already have a built-in base of horror fans that want ghost hunting shows to be real. So take this and make them sort of like in that Conjuring vein, and we're going to believe it and make the ghosts real. Treat the horror like it's real horror, and I think that would really work. Comparatively to like an Until Dawn, where it's just basically placeholders until the next sequel comes around.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely, and I'm just like you're saying, pull that what you can from the game, but you have the luxury of still making up your own story or even backstory for the characters at the very least, if you really wanted to. Like that's not something, you know what I mean? Because that's where a lot of these video game to movie films fail, is where they have all that source material, all that story that kept people playing these games. Shit, for some of them for damn near 20, 30 years, getting the sequels, this, that, and the third, and they just completely ignore all that shit and wonder why people are pissed off. I'm like, yo, you had a story that we followed. Now we can actually get to kick our feet back and relax and watch it on screen. You just did what you wanted. Why? Phasmophobia kind of has that luxury. They don't have to worry about that, but they have to keep the scary from this. If they don't have the scary from this game or even amp it up, you're going to fuck it up right there, right then and there.
They should even add some of your stuff, like you scaring yourself.
Well, no, I wouldn't do that. That interactive shit is stupid.
Interactive?
It's like, all right, like if you make this game sort of like an Unfriended or something like that, where you're kind of in it, or a Paranormal Activity, you are just it's going to be fun. You're never going to get a Paranormal Activity reaction, because Paranormal Activity did what I'm saying the first time and then killed it, destroyed this idea over and over again, where it was like it treated the horror as real. It's just following these cameras. That's why the found footage worked. That's why Blair Witch worked. And then you made them the main characters. Why do we care about them in these things? Because they go missing. In this one, you don't so much have to make them missing. They're ghost hunters. Maybe they hunt a show, maybe they don't. Maybe they do a YouTube, whatever the backstory you can fill it in later. But this story has to be more about characterization than it does have to be about the most prolific story about ghosts. You can have a thin, failed, very easy, convention-riddled story and that would work for this, and then have great characters. The Conjuring is nothing new. We've seen it before with ghost hunting movies and stuff, and others or it's just people who encounter and have to investigate supernatural something. We've seen it before, but it's the characters that make it interesting. It's the lore they're building around it. It's what we get to see. Like, that's what you need to do around this, which they desperately don't do when it comes to video game movies. And I don't think you should put it in your face for wild, stupid jump scares. I think the jump scares can be there naturally. You're dealing with ghosts that are meant to do this anyway. And I think it could be interesting. And if you added an element of comedy to it, and I'm not saying horror comedy like Tucker and Dale, like where it's over, it can be exaggerated. You know, the horror, and those are good horror comedies, don't get me wrong, but maybe something more in the lines of like a Thanksgiving that just came out recently. It was tongue-in-cheek funny, but it dealt with what was going on. There was a real investigation here, stuff like that. So that way, because if you add that element, then you can have them go from house to house dealing with different ghosts, which is another element that game players really like.
Yeah, I like the idea of the vlog style ghost hunters or whatnot for the modern day thing, and then have some shit really be happening to them. Like they're used to doing it and doing their own setups and shit, and then all of a sudden it gets real, and they actually got to use the skills.
It'll be interesting to see what Blumhouse does, though. Like, are they gonna upset the Phasmophobia fans, or are they gonna excite us? Because that's where you're gonna get your biggest reach from, your biggest, like, shit. Listen, go watch this fucking movie. This movie was awesome. It follows, it pulls the fear from the games. It pulls this, that, and the third from the games. Some of the fun things from the games. You know what I mean? With every single tour from the games, the red moon that it does every now and then, whatever the case may be. But oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous. I'm excited, but I'm nervous.
Don't have to be nervous. Just listen to us.
Well, that's why I'm nervous.
No,
You've interested me in a video game, and it takes a lot to do.
Oh, it's a
I'm gonna check it out.
I would
fun,
agree, but I
fun
don't
game.
think that's the case here.
It's on
so
PC.
simple. It's just no, not just the PC version. I'm just talking about the idea of the story. There is no real story to it.
No.
There's just missions you go on. So that's the
Mhm.
thing. That's what most of these fucking filmmakers don't realize. They think because there's no real story in the video game, there doesn't have to. And I don't mean filmmaker. I mean the studio execs. But there doesn't have to be a full story fleshed out in the movie either, because they understand that this is about this. And it's like, no, stop, slow down. There's no real story in the game. So take the elements of the game and create a story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A good one, right?
You know, like have, you can build the tension and the fear and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you have one of the team die at
Yep.
6 Tanglewood Drive,
Hmm.
which is an address, we know as players. And now they're dealing with that as they go on case after case and they're haunted by it. Then they have to go on their biggest one, which is maybe Blaisdell Farm or whatever, the big houses,
Or the prisons.
Yeah.
The
or
prison.
the prison.
Oh, the
The
prison.
prison
Yeah.
would be great. And now they're the only ghost hunters that have real proof. They've shown it. They've lost somebody to a ghost. They are famous for it, and they're pulled in to go into this big prison or whatever else, and they have to deal with a lot of ghosts.
Yeah.
And they're in over their head, and it's horror, and it's all night. Now it becomes a survival of the fittest to get out of the prison and get away.
I love it.
Do you make the team 4 or do you make it bigger than 4?
I would build it out a little bit. Like, I mean, I would build it out because if you're actually building a team that's doing this type of investigating, think about it. You're in a movie. You're going to want to have more interactions.
Yeah.
Especially with that big. It's a horror movie, so having a lot of people gives you chances to kill people off.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which
Which I think is important. Super
Yeah.
important.
Even if it's a horror movie where there's no real killing, but you need to have victims in some way anyway of whatever
Yep.
it is. So you're going to have multiple of that. You're going to have opposition sort of. Don't add a bad guy. That's the one thing. Don't add a bad guy. Don't add some rich asshole. Don't try to tell the theme of like some politician does this, that, or the other. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like you keep it to the ghost, you keep it to the team, you keep the sympathy and the compassion for the team there. You can add adversaries like maybe a sheriff is up their ass, maybe somebody who doesn't want to lose their shirt on real ghosts here or something, or their clients or stuff like that. Like, it would really have to be fleshed out, but it's not that hard to do if you know the game. But that's the one thing, like, know the game.
Yeah. No, I honestly bring in the creators of the game to pull in from them. Pull in some of the elements from them especially as far as the fear goes. I would say try to make, honestly, if you're going to do this movie too, try to make it as accurate as possible as far as the different stages. Like we're talking about the prison, 6 Tanglewood, and so on and so forth, because us gamers are going to realize that.
How long has this game been around?
2 years, I think.
Couple years.
About,
Yeah.
about,
2 years.
about 2 years. It came out
Oh, wow.
for just on Steam for like the PC and stuff, and then just this past
cool.
October is when it came out for
PlayStation.
like PlayStation and stuff, consoles.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cheap. It's only like $25, which I think more games should be around that price when they come out.
You got to build. So, Trevor, really quick, you got to build up a case. So they give you a case. You got to figure out the ghost.
Okay.
So you got to use all the equipment. Then there's a journal you check off. You're like, oh, I heard a voice on the speaker box.
Mhm.
The EMF reader, check. Then the ghost. There's a whole big list of ghosts, and each one you check. Some don't use that as evidence. So you got to window down all the ghosts to figure out what ghost is haunting the place.
Let me ask you
Oh,
guys
that's
this.
very cool. So it kind of takes almost like a board game feel to it, almost.
No,
Yeah,
you were way off. It's fantastic. It's so much better. It's living the life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm just being fun. Please don't think I'm being rude. But I do have a question for you guys. Trevor, one as a horror fan and a movie fan, who hasn't played the game, now hearing about it, what's an element from horror movies that you think would fit in a movie like this being made that you would like to see? Like something, just some sort of convention or trope or something that's niche to this style of film. And also for the rest of you guys who do play the game, What are elements from the game you want to see in it?
In the film,
Yeah.
honestly, a lot of stuff we went over. Like I said, with the fear, I love the aspect of the van or whatever that is, the truck. Um, let me think. Let me think. Every single tool, like I want it to pretty much mirror the game, but just being a movie.
Mhm.
As much as they can mirror the game, because I really do think that's super important once you pull from, especially when you pull from video games again, where you have. I understand it can't be exactly like the visuals, but to where you can kind of, you know what I mean, do your best to make it look like the visuals from the game. Of course, not with this game so much because you have to build a story, but you still have, a lot of elements you can pull from the game. But again, for those games that you do need the story and they have the good stories, pull the story from the game. Stop doing all this extra nonsense, all that extra
Mhm.
crap, and putting pretty people in the movie. That's not what draws us in. We don't want that. We want what drew us into the game. We want what kept us into the game for years and years and years. And with Phasmophobia, shit, since I told everybody about it, everybody's been playing it and having a good time with it at least once a week. James been playing that shit like every day since he's gotten it, and it's just one of those games. And if you're gonna make it into a movie, I want it to be one of those movies to where us fans, at the very least, I'll say us Phasmophobia fans. I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper at all. I'm not saying it like that, but to where you're a fan of that game and you're like, yo, they did a really good fucking job with this movie. Because again, that says a lot. That says a lot versus just being a fan of the movie. No disrespect, but then it's like because you're like, I know more of this. I know even if it's just how we're playing Phasmophobia with no story, but still, I know this game and this movie reminds me of the game in one way, shape, or another. That's important. That's what I want from the movie. I want a memory from the movie where it makes me think of the game, and I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait to go home and fucking play this and just talk about the movie with you guys, for example, versus
I disagree.
versus it being a disappointment or just like, oh, fuck that. I don't want it to be a blood lake. Do not do that to me, Phasmophobia.
Oh, come on. There's
Well, I
been
mean, they
one
have to
Blood
shoot
Lake.
on
You've never
VHS
compared
then.
any other movie to Blood Lake ever.
Actually, I have a
Nobody
few
who?
times.
What?
I have.
Like what?
I can't think off the top of my head.
What compares to
Sledgehammer?
Blood Lake in your head out of all of these horror films?
No. That's not what I mean by that. I just don't want them to be on that level.
Nobody will ever be on. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
You
no one's gonna be on that
You
level.
never know.
Boarding House?
No,
Oh,
you can have bad movies.
it could put my attitude towards that film. If it's real shitty, it could put my attitude towards that film. Like now you're the Phasm. Now you could be the Blood Lake of video game movies. Boom, like Street Fighter.
Actually, I have the Blood Lake of ghost movies for you, and it's called either Boarding House or Housegeist.
Oh, I disagree. I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
I love that movie for all the wrong reasons.
And I know the guy who owns the rights to that movie.
Seriously?
Yeah, Frank is Sabatelli. He's a director. He's fantastic, dude. And
well, I mean, he made a little bit of bank on Vinegar Syndrome.
He did it. He found that movie. He bought the rights. He brought it to Vinegar Syndrome. So like, I remember when he was on the show talking about it, and I was like, I never heard of this. I'll check it out. And I bought a copy. That is not Blood Lake. That is not Blood Lake.
Blood Lakes.
You tried, and I'll give it to you. Blood Lake. The reason Blood Lake is because it literally, and like that's why I don't think it should be judged as hard as you guys judge it. Is because it's literally teenagers went out and made a movie with a VHS camera.
That's it.
It's like I did that when I was 9. It's the same thing. They just did the same.
Listen.
At least mine
I've
had
seen
dinosaurs
so
in
much
it.
shot on video stuff from the 80s and early 90s. I mean, it isn't a great movie, but in comparison, it actually is not that bad. Like when you put it against like Things and Sledgehammer. But you brought up what makes those movies wonderful, and even Housegeist, which I remember when it was available on VHS. Actually, another thing that Eric and I would watch on a regular basis. Those are so much fun because it is really just a group of teenagers or 20-something or 30-something that are throwing a movie together with 2 VHS players, and you gotta love it.
I'm gonna tell you guys something right now. It's something that just happened to me a second ago. It's traumatizing. I hope you guys don't mind.
Did you leave a brown streak?
No, I always leave Brown Street.
Oh.
That's never surprising.
Damn.
So Sturdy and I will share in chats sometimes, like because we're like prepping for like the next thing or whatever. And so I go over and he shared something with me, and I'm typing fast and listening to Trevor, so I'm not really paying attention. But this is still on me. I'm not taking away from this. All I'm going to say, though, is when you're typing out a certain quote from Jaws and you're using a certain word, B and N should not be together. That's all I'm saying. I immediately was like, this isn't right. And I didn't spell out the whole thing. And I'm like, I can't send this to Sturdy. What am I doing? And I was like, and then I looked at it and I'm like, did I just get racist all of a sudden? And I looked at it, I'm like, no. Let me finish. I said, I looked down and I was like, why is the B next to the N? That feels like it's a setup.
All I'm gonna say is that's why I'll never get on a boat.
Wow.
If you didn't pick that joke up, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh.
Yep.
Exactly.
So the lesson of the story is watch us next week and watch Boarding House.
Boarding House is awesome.
I agree with you. And it is not Blood Lake.
Oh no. Oh no,
Yeah,
no. Next week we're getting into some 2 shark films that are foreign films,
So many
and then 4 shark films for the 4th of Jaws.
Ooh.
Dude,
That's
it's
gonna be
crazy
fun.
because on the Scene Snobs, besides the Jaws, our classic film review next week is Jaws. And our Does It Suck is Orca.
Nice.
I love Orca.
Yeah.
Nice.
Me too.
You know what? I'm gonna watch Street
I
Shark.
I love a drunk Richard Harris either way. So
It's Fish Week on the Scene Snobs and Sturdovision next week. Wait, Fish Week? Can we call it that? I bet there's something better.
Fish Week.
Fish Week. Fins in the ocean.
Long John Dingles. I don't know.
My hat is like a shark's fin. That's true.
Survive like LL Cool
Moby
J.
Dick Week.
The Moby Dick week.
Oh, there will be
not
dicks.
And make sure Dick is capitalized.
Oh, there will be capitalized dicks.
I don't even know what that means.
Cliff is coming
But,
to play. He laughed as either he has Cliff or he's seen Cliff. Who's Cliff?
That was. I got nothing. What the fuck was that?
He stuck their finger in a coyote's butt.
Oh, Chris is over there choking.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know why you got that. I hope it's for the dog.
Yeah, it's a dog toy.
Oh, okay.
It makes him howl. He doesn't really like playing with it, but if you squeeze it, he howls in the same key as the
I had
fucking
a yellow one.
chicken.
Yellow chicken. My dog, when she was younger, was obsessed with it. So,
We are gonna wrap this up, people. Though, make sure you go check out Popcorn and Pints every Saturday at 9. Check out the Scene Snobs every Friday at 8 p.m. Check out Worst Damn Gamer Ever. He's always doing something.
I'm about to be live for like almost a month.
See,
Come hang
that's that
out.
Puerto Rican energy. Ambassador Media. Go check out our guy, Professor
I
T.
promise I'll get off my ass soon and do something. So
awesome.
And of course, Horror Research 30 every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. But with that being said, people, we are going to bounce. What are you looking for, Mick?
I'm fucking with
See this?
you.
See your nightmares. Peace. Sound like some